Okay, so let's talk a little bit about insurance. You need to understand the basics of insurance and how it can protect you against major financial losses. Insurance is a way to protect yourself against risk. When you buy insurance, you pay a small amount of money called a premium. Let's write that down. This is the amount you pay. And you can pay that either on a monthly basis or a yearly basis to an insurance company. Now, paying insurance premium protects you against some large, unpredictable expense, which is called a loss or a claim. Okay? This is when bad stuff happens that's outside of your control. Okay? Now, when would you have some large, unpredictable expense? That's if something really bad happens. An accident, someone getting sick, someone getting hurt. If these type of things happen to you and you have insurance, then you are protected. Now, the insurance company is going to pay to replace or fix what has been damaged. Let's say a house has been damaged, if you were to insure that house. But in many cases, they may just pay just a cash settlement to bring you back to where you were originally, okay? Having that protection on your house protects the value that you own of that house. And we're going to get a little bit into that in just a second. Now, is there just one type of insurance? Of course not. There are many types of insurance. There are two questions to ask when you're talking about insurance, though. The first question is, what thing are you insuring? Okay. The second question is, why are you insuring that thing? So these are the two questions, okay? Let's talk about the first question. What thing are you insuring? That means, is it a house? Is it a car? Is it a business? Is it your health? Is it your life? Is it your ability to earn income? Exactly what is it that is being protected? We're going to come back to that in a few minutes. First, I would like to focus on the second question here, which is, why are you insuring that thing? And there are two reasons, two areas to cover there. Property or liability. Okay? So these are the two types of insurance. Okay? Property insurance protects the actual physical thing. So let's say if you have a $10,000 car and that car gets stolen and you have the insurance that protects you if it gets stolen, then the insurance company is going to replace your car with another $10,000 car or close to it. So you're covering something so that you will get something else pretty close to that thing in value. So you have a $10,000 car, $10,000 car gets stolen, the insurance company is going to get you another $10,000 car or something close to it. Okay? So that's as far as property. So we've covered property. The other thing is liability. Liability insurance works a little bit differently. Okay, that covers you if you have to pay for someone else's damages or someone else getting sick or someone else getting hurt, not yourself, if you cause any of those problems. If you cause a car accident because you were not paying attention, let's say you were texting while you were driving, which I could tell you it's definitely not worth it. If you were texting and hit another car, let's say you messed up the back bumper of the car and someone hurt their neck, someone who was in the car hurt their neck, you might have to pay a lot of money to fix all of that, okay? When someone else gets hurt, you may have to pay a lot of money to fix it, especially when you have doctors and hospitals involved, okay? Liability insurance protects you from having to pay for all of that, as long as you have enough insurance. If you cause $100,000 in damages, but your liability insurance only covers you for $50,000, then guess what? You have to come up with $50,000 of your own because your liability insurance is not enough to cover the entire bill, okay? Now let's talk a little bit about why you need to get insurance. as you get older, you're going to hear a lot of people groan and complain about having to pay their premium for car insurance and health insurance and any other types of insurance that they have. Without insurance, you could be faced with a huge bill to pay. Okay? The reason that these folks all complain is because they know they have to have the insurance, and they have it because they know they need it. So don't pay too much attention to the complaining. If you're smart about insurance, you get educated on it, and you're a good shopper, you won't end up complaining so much as you hear other people complaining about paying their premium. Okay? Now, if you're faced with a huge bill to pay, and you will deal with that debt, which will hurt your credit rating. So if, let's say, you don't have insurance, guess what? The amount of money that you have to pay is going to go against you on your credit report. So everything in financial stuff is all interconnected. One way to also, protect your credit rating is to have the right amount of insurance and to be careful when it comes to that area. Okay? Now, of course, insurance is required in some cases whether you want to get that insurance or not, especially if there's a loan involved. So if you have a loan on a car or a house, that means that the lender also owns a part of your car or your house because you owe money on it. And it really all depends on how much it's worth and how much you owe. So the lender has to protect their ownership in your house or car because, again, they own part of it too. In many cases, you're going to have to get enough insurance to cover that entire amount. So the best advice I could give you is just accept it and comply. There's really nothing more to be said about it than that. So let's talk about now the different types of insurance, or the different what thing insurance out there. Okay, now it's completely up to you if you decide what to insure and what not to insure. Of course, except for the cases where there's a legal requirement. Okay? Now I encourage you to look deeper at each type of insurance that I'm going to talk about here and really do your research, do your homework to see if it could really help you in your life with your goals and everything you're trying to accomplish. I really want to stress here that I'm not giving any type of specific advice on getting any specific type of insurance, but there are some types of insurance, again, that the law requires. So definitely follow the law very carefully when it comes to those types of insurance. And there are, of course, different laws in different states and different cities. So make sure you get educated on that. Many people shop on the internet for insurance, and there are many online resources to get better educated on insurance. So I definitely encourage you to look at all that. So the first type of insurance that we should cover is, of course, homeowners insurance. Okay, so I'm going to list all the different types of insurance here, and we're going to get a little bit deeper into that. So number one is homeowners insurance. So once you buy a home, or buy a house with a mortgage, or even without a mortgage, you're going to have to carry homeowners insurance. Okay, again, if you have a mortgage, that means that the bank has an ownership in your house, and you have to protect your ownership, and you have to keep your insurance. If you rent an apartment, you could cover yourself in case of a burglary or a fire. Renter's insurance, the second type of insurance we're going to talk about. Okay. It's pretty inexpensive, and it's basically where they take a basic inventory of all your stuff that you have to figure out how much it would cost to replace everything that you own. Now, if you just have an old couch and some clothes, then it's probably best to just save your money and not get renter's insurance. But if you have some really nice stuff like designer clothing, jewelry, computers, nice furniture, some high-end stuff, and other expensive things, then you might want to consider renter's insurance. Okay? Now, the next thing we'll talk about is car insurance. Okay, let's talk a little bit about car insurance here. Most states require that you have car insurance by law. They have liability requirements, all of that. Definitely educate yourself depending on what state you drive in. that you make sure that you're complying with the law. Now you need to know that younger people do pay higher insurance rates than older folks. Teenage drivers do not have experience. They tend to cause more accidents, so this is when you're just learning to drive. If you can avoid thinking that you're invincible or Superman or a cowboy and pay attention to the road, then you're going to end up saving yourself a whole lot of trouble and a whole lot of money by just being careful in your driving, okay? If you get tickets for driving fast or not stopping at stop signs, it will cost you a lot of money, including not getting a good driver discount. If you don't get good grades, you may not get a good student discount. Some insurance companies have that. And if you decide to get a sports car or a four-wheel drive car early on, you may end up paying a little more for your insurance because the insurance company is going to think that you're going to go fast and cause problems. My recommendation is get a sensible car when you're first starting out. It just makes financial sense to have a regular standard four-door sedan, nothing too fast, nothing too powerful. Okay? Now let's talk a little bit about health insurance. This is a major area. There are over 50 million Americans that do not have health insurance, and they're playing a very dangerous game. So let's write that down. Health insurance. So this is basically what covers you if you have to go to the hospital or see the doctor or have surgery or stuff like that. Okay, it's a very important area. And again, over 50 million Americans do not have this type of insurance. Many of those people don't have it because they don't have the money for it, they can't afford it, it's too expensive for them, or they don't qualify to get it because they have had health problems in the past and the insurance companies feel like it would be expensive to cover them. That's a totally different issue. We're not going to get into that. But it's good for you to know that now that you're young and there are less things going wrong with your health now, that you definitely get some insurance for yourself. It's a good idea to have some health insurance. You don't have to have a Cadillac plan, but something is better than nothing, okay? You are just as likely, by the way, to get hurt, let's say riding your skateboard or your bicycle. So again, having that protection can save you a whole lot of money. Now there's also dental insurance, which covers stuff like cavities or if you have gum problems or anything like that. So if that's an issue for you, then I would definitely recommend you consider it. It could be worth having dental insurance. And of course, there's also life insurance, which pays a cash settlement to, let's say, your family or whoever you name. You would list, if I die, I want the money to go to this person or this organization or whatever. Now, if you're young, you probably don't want to think of death. I totally understand that. But when you start having a family or you start owning your own business or your businesses, you might want to consider it. Basically, whenever other people are depending on you, like if you have kids or a wife or even have a business partner, sometimes life insurance becomes very important and it makes a lot of sense to have it. Now let's talk about disability income insurance. This is the one type of insurance that if more people had it, there would be a whole lot less suffering out there. So let me write down disability income insurance. This type of insurance protects what's probably the most important asset you have and will have later on in your life, which is your ability to earn income. Now, I'm not saying go out and grab some disability income insurance today, but definitely get educated on it for when the time is right, because it could save your life and your livelihood. This coverage protects you and pays you about half or a little more than half of your income that you have at a job if you end up getting sick or hurt and just for whatever reason you cannot work, okay? The disabled, again, are the largest minority in the United States, and it's a major issue. Again, the disabled are the largest minority in the United States, larger than any other minority. 1 in 4 workers in the United States becomes disabled sometime in their life, okay? So let's say you had your own place, your own car and job, and one day you come home and you slip and fall over because the neighbor's kid left the skateboard in front of your driveway. And now your back hurts really bad, you can't move and you can't do anything, you can't report to work. Who would go into work for you and pay your rent? Who would make your car payments? You would still owe on all these things. These bills don't just go away just because you're hurt. So please do yourself a favor and at least get educated on disability income insurance so that later on, when you start a business and start earning more money as a professional, as a doctor, as a lawyer, or whatever you end up doing, that you protect your ability to earn an income. Okay? Now, as far as where to buy insurance, in some cases where you work may provide you with a choice of certain types of insurance. This applies to health insurance, life insurance, and even disability insurance and dental insurance. Those types of insurance are usually offered to you if you have a job, okay? Now, if you're unemployed or you have your own business, you're gonna have to shop for all these types of insurance by yourself, from number 1 through number 6. One piece of advice I can offer you when it comes to insurance is that the cheapest insurance is not always the best. If you go with a company that has a history of not paying its customers in case of a loss, then they may not protect you when you need them to. So do your homework, do your research. You got to pick a solid, established company with a strong history of fulfilling its promises, and that's very important. Insurance companies have representatives, just so you know, that they're called agents. And sometimes they can be very helpful in guiding you through your insurance needs and shopping around for you. But be sure to get a second opinion at all times and educate yourself on insurance too, so that you make sure you're getting the best deal for the best quality protection you could possibly get. Now, because you know this, you are going to avoid being underprotected and avoid a lot of loss because you did not have the right protection in place. Having insurance is very important. You have to comply with the law and make sure that you're covering all of the assets that you're going to have in your future: your car, your home, your business, your ability to earn an income, and anything else. Thank you very much.